very stormy. The winds were extremely high, over 140 kilometers per hour winds last Thursday and Friday. As a result of that, one of the floating oil platforms, FPSO, leaked 250,000 liters of oil, and it's been too windy, too stormy to even contain the spill. So there's four, as I said, there's four operations. 2 are floating platforms, 2 are gravity-based structures. All 4 have suspended operations. They had still suspended as of yesterday. I haven't gotten an update today, so I don't know if they're back in operation, but as a result of the weather and the adverse weather conditions in that part of the world, the North Atlantic, which is of course where our college is. The winds are extremely high.
Beside the battery?
And as a result, those are the types of environmental concerns
So you have 1 hour,
that the
41
oil
minutes.
and gas
Oh,
production
cutting
have
close.
to,
Can we plug it in?
contend.
Plug it in, yeah.
Did you bring
So
the
some
phone?
of you, I mentioned that because some of you may end up working offshore here in the Canada region. I don't expect you would have the same issues to deal with or contend with.
Thank you, Robert. Hopefully, because that's scary stuff, like there's a lot of offshore stuff in Qatar, so if you do find yourself out there, hopefully you don't have to face that. We'll get started, so thank you very much everybody for coming. These guys have been working on this presentation for quite a while now. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Carol. So Carol has put a lot of effort into this. She's been coming into the class to work with us and because we want to develop their soft skills along with the technical stuff we're teaching you. Every one of these guys has identified that they want to be a supervisor, so with that comes responsibility. With that comes being able to communicate to others, present in front of groups. So this was a key part of why you guys are doing this, is to help develop your presentation skills. You guys are in for a real treat. These guys, we watched a couple practice runs. It's going to be really phenomenal. So before we get started, if we hear a fire alarm, we're going to walk out we're going to do a hard right, get outside of this building, go down the corridor to number 5. So hopefully we don't have that happen. To start off, first of all, I really enjoyed this class, and also I invited Mr. Yusuf from my last class. I've run 2 fast track groups, which is where you run 1A and 1B at the same time. So last semester it was just Yusuf and me. This time it was us 4. So I've never seen this kind of dynamic with students. I've had good students in the past, but never have I had a group where it's propelled me to do a better job. And this is the first group where I've actually questioned myself, am I doing a good enough job? Because I want to make sure I can do the best for you guys. So actually this is the first time I really questioned what I can do to be a better instructor. I spent a little extra time, normally where I wouldn't, to prepare the lessons to make sure we could do a good job for you. So I hope that going forward, you guys will get the same level of instruction and you'll be better in the workplace for it. So thank you guys very much it's been a very enjoyable semester. I've really enjoyed every single class. It was enjoyment to come to work and to work with you guys, as well as Mr. Yusuf. That's why I invited you back today. So the first thing before we do their presentation, we're going to start off with a safety moment. I've actually invited Mr. Yusuf, so you are going to do the safety moment. So you can come on up, please, and you can present us with a safety moment. So this is Mr. Yusuf.
Hi, my name is Yusuf, and as I was instructed, I'm going to be doing the safety moment. I've had an accident before. It's not related to the plant, but it has safety precautions like any other thing. Before I was driving on the rain, and there was a huge puddle of water. I didn't see it, so I was driving over 80 kilometers per hour. I was surprised by the puddle. I couldn't stop the car on time, so I went through it. The car started aquaplaning. I couldn't steer at all. I had a friend passenger. He was kind of overweight and I'm kind of underweight, so the car started tilting to the right side. No, not joking. It started tilting to the right side, and then it climbed a rocky area. We've been going maybe 100 meters more on that rocky area, and then finally the car stopped. But thank goodness nothing happened during the accident, and I wasn't even wearing the seatbelt. So if something had happened, I would think like. So the safety precaution for that was drive slowly in line, even if you know how to drive or you have the skills.
Thank you very much. That was very good. And we've had a lot of rain. Actually, we've had a lot of rain this year. Just to add to you, on Arab League Street, there was a dip, and it was full of water. And I was on my bicycle. So the day of the storm, there was cars driving so fast. 2 days after I drove by, I counted 14 license plates in a pile because they'd hit the water so fast it ripped the front bumpers off. There was just a pile of plastic on the side of the road and a pile of license plates. So exactly, they hit it so hard, water becomes like concrete. And yeah. And you mentioned hydroplaning too, where you skid on top of it. So that's two things we're doing. Thank you very much, Yusuf. So we'll have to watch out for that. Our first presenter is, I like to call him Grandpa because he's our elder. He's the class leader. He's actually, all these guys are leaders, they're true leaders, but Abdurrahman's kind of the, he's more the mature student that's kind of looked out for these guys. He's kept them in line. I relied on him to kind of help run my class, as of all. They've all showed tremendous leadership skills, but I'm going to get Abdurrahman to come up. He's going to present on CAT. It's a environmental sanctuary in Wales, so look forward to seeing that. So this is Mr. Abdurrahman.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Today I'll be talking about the Centre for Alternative Technology, short for CAT, that's based in Wales. So the Centre, what is CAT? So what is the Centre for Alternative Technology? Anyone know? Anyone have any clue or anything? So CAT is an education and a visitor centre demonstrating practical solutions for sustainability. So in general, they help the environment to improve the carbon in the weather. So they help the environment, they make the life greener. So they help with the sustainable energy and with efficiency in energy. So they don't waste any energy. So we're going to move on to the next slide. So anyone familiar of who this person is? That's Prince Philip. He's the Queen's wife, husband. He's the Queen's husband. He's with the founder of CAT. So the founder of CAT is a businessman turned into an environmentalist, Gerard Morgan Grenville. So he's the one who founded it. He's the one who helped CAT to grow. So now it was founded in 1973, so now they passed 40 years. So you can see how the Prince was interested in that center. So the government was supporting the center to help improve and to help improve the environment in the UK or in the entire world. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. So you can see a picture here from the past and present. You can see the difference here between how many people they needed to work an engine or a diesel engine or anything, and nowadays one person to assemble a solar panel. So you can see the huge difference in 40 years. So what do CAT do? So they cover all aspects of green living. So they help the environment. They help them to make the environment better for human beings and for animals and plants. They have environmental buildings. So all the buildings in CAT is environmental, so it's eco. So they make it from natural materials. They do use any chemicals or cementic materials or anything. So everything is from the nature. So that's a good thing that they do. They have eco-sanitation. they have woodland management. So woodland management is, as I've been told, that they don't cut the trees from the root. So they cut the trees that the trees can grow again. So they don't kill the the trees, and to make it grow again so they can use it again, and to help the environment too. So they use renewable energy. So in CAT, when I visited, they said they don't waste any energy at all. So everything they use it again. So even the waste, anything, any trash, anything, they renew it and they use it again. Even the fertilizers, they use their own fertilizers to make their own food. They have energy efficiency and organic growing. So they have their own farm. They grow their own vegetables and fruits. So they don't rely on any energy source or any source from outside their center. So everything in the center is from the center. So they use everything from their center. The food, energy, electricity, everything. They don't have any grid. They're not connected to the UK grid. They have their own grid. They have their own everything. So here you can see a picture from 40 years ago and nowadays. That's a wind turbine. You can see how simple is it with fabric and wood. You can see it's not that long. It's maybe 3 meters maybe. And there you can see how it's so simple. You can see how this one is so sophisticated and so tall, and with the really big materials. So it's really powerful, and it's more efficient than the old one. So as I told you guys, they were experimenting the wind turbines since the mid-70s, and you can see how they improved with the years. So this is a picture for the center from above. So you can see here the base center. You can see they cover all that area. So this is the area is all that they manage. So all the woods, all the fertilizers, even the sheep and farms. So everything here they cover. So I have some statistics and achievements for CAT. So it's still a tourist attraction that draws around 70,000 visitors a year. So that's not a small number. So since the doors was opened in 1975, over 2 million people have been informed, inspired, and enabled. So a lot of scientists, doctors, inventors that were inspired in that center. So they made a huge impact in the world. So CAT has won numerous prestigious environmental awards, including the Ashton Awards, the People in the Environment Business Award, and Renewable Campaigners of the Year. So they have some good awards. So since the 1990s, CAT has been the home of the colony of rare laser horseshoe bats. So this is one thing that CAT do. They help the rare animals, or as they call it, this one is the horseshoe bats. So this one is, I think this bat was based in Wales, somewhere in Wales. So they saw its extinction. So they tried to raise it and make it to make their colony, to make it a big colony. So over 200,000 school children have taken a part in their educational programs and workshops. So every year in the summer they have visits from students, from schools, from even nowadays they still do like master's degrees, so in their center. So that's a good thing. That's one of the things that they do. So it's a 40 years experience of environment. So that's the thing that CAT do. So this is a picture of me when I visited CAT. So that was in 2016. I took a trip with my university. So this picture I took myself. This one we walked around 2 miles uphill to see the wind turbine. So you can see how high we were. So all these pictures, you can see how So it was a tiring walk, but it was worth it. When you reach the top, when you see the view, it was really worth it. And we just saw the wind turbine from close. When you see it from far away, it looks like it's not that big, it's so small. When you reach it, it's huge. You can't imagine, you can go inside and you can live in it. So, CAT, they have a vision of a zero carbon Britain by 2030. So that's their aim, to make Britain by 2030 a zero carbon country. So hopefully this one will happen in Qatar and all around the world, that countries will be interested, organizations will be interested in helping the environment. And I think that center is really interesting, and I advise you to visit it. I advise everyone to visit that center, because it's a national place. You can go there and there's no reception for your mobile phone. Even the cabins, they have like 2 plugs only in one cabin. So 20 people in one cabin or 50 people, you have 2 plugs only. So you need to fight with people to charge your phone. So I advise everyone to visit the center, because it's really nice. It's a good experience that I experienced it, and it's really awesome. And I hope that I can experience that experience again. Thank you, everyone. Anyone have any questions?
Where in the UK is it located, did you
It's
say?
in Wales.
Wales?
It's in
Okay.
Wales.
Thank you.
Anyone?
Thank you so much.
For any informations, this is the website. If anyone needed to know a lot of more information about CAT, this is their website. And thank you everyone for listening and for giving me your time. Now I'll introduce my friend Mohammed. He will be presenting about Corvettes. Thank you very much.
Mohammed.
Okay, good morning everyone, or good evening, or afternoon, all of them. My name is Mohammed, and today I will talk about the Chevy Corvette. And the Chevy Corvette is the first Corvette ever built in America. This is the picture of it. I think it's the C3, they named it the American Sports Car, because the first one of the best one ever made. The 1953 concept of the first year was started as a concept show car at the New York Auto Show for the GM Motorama show in 1953. And after the show ended, the Corvette was put into production after maybe 2 months. And anyone know why Corvettes were built? Any clues? It was built to compete against European sports cars, and this is the 1950 Ferrari, I think. It's, where did the name come from? It came from the warship. This is a new picture of it. It's a Corvette, a warship named Corvette. It was a small, light, and fast warship. Was used commonly in World War II, and it was first built in the 1670s. So now there's smaller ships, but at the time that was the smallest one. In the Corvette early years, it had the inline 6 engine named the Blue Flame, made 150 horsepower. Handled very bad. Nobody bought it in the first year. Like it was on the all showrooms, but nobody bought it. And in 1955, they threw out the Blue Flame and got V8 in it with 195 horsepower. And the body was made out of fiberglass, so it's lighter than steel and cheaper. So they made a lot of it. And the Corvette production lines, from 1953 until the 1980, Corvettes were built in Flint, Michigan and St. Louis, Missouri. And from 1981 until today, all the Corvettes were built in Bowling Green, Kentucky, next to the Corvette Museum. This is the Corvette Museum with more pictures. And I think over there, or on the other side, was the factory. And this is the C1, and this is the C7 Corvette. and the Corvette Museum sinkhole. This thing happened February 12, 2014. A sinkhole suddenly opened in the museum and swallowed 8 Corvettes. That's all of them. And this is both of these survived. This is one. They fixed the blue one and the black one. This is the black one there, and this is the blue one. I don't know if you can see that one. They fixed that, and all of them stayed the same. The rest. And the Corvette models, they changed over the years how they handled and the engines and the adjustments. So this is the C1 from 1953, 1962. I think in 1958 they changed the headlights and the tail of it. And the C2, the only thing they changed from 1963 is the split rear window. Only had it 1 year. And after that it was full back window. It never changed it. And the C3 had other changes from 1968 to 1982. It was the best-selling Corvette ever and the longest-running Corvette. And in 1984, and see, there is a gap. See, 1982 and 1984. 1 year they stopped it to make only the C4, to design the C4. They didn't want to come because the sales went down. And the C5 from 1997 to 2004. The C6, this is the C6 ZR1. And this is the C7, the 2014 and today. And the Corvette models that I like, the C2 with the split rear window, and the 72 C3 Stingray with the side pipes, and the C7 is the 06. And the fastest stick shift Corvette, owned by a guy who nicknamed himself Cletus McFarland, with a car named Leroy the Savage. It went 782 at 176 miles an hour in the quarter mile, at about 283 kilometers. Has a 427 cubic inch or a 7-liter V8 with the twin turbo skis, as he names them, as he named the twin turbos twin turbo skis.
What's the name?
Okay, I have a video.
It's a must.
There's no more for right here. Okay. Okay, wait. You can't run it, there's no water in the engine.
Let's get it controlled.
So what do you think? Dude, it nosed over so hard up top.